Alrighty, folks, I want to take this opportunity to share a very, very rough draft of what hopefully becomes my Bigger Pockets presentation in Orlando. I'm going to do this with my good friend Cody because I value his opinion and I just want to make sure I'm on the right track. But before we get into that, Cody has got some good news to drop. He is just about to sign on a refi that's going to save him a bunch of money. So, Cody, why don't you start us off with some good news, and we'll bring up the PowerPoint.
Well, I've been fighting to get this refinance done for a few months. However, now that I'm getting it done, I'll be signing a loan, $2.6 million at 5.8% interest.
Nice.
I'm going from 6.8% interest down to 5.8 on $2.5 million. So
Damn.
I'll be saving a little north of $2,000 a month in interest. And I'm pretty stoked about that.
Yeah, you should be. Well, the other thing I want to talk about just real quick before we pull up the PowerPoint and I get your feedback is it seems to me ever since you took over self-management of your portfolio, which I think occurred in January, but I could be wrong.
April.
Okay, so it was April. You've been constantly stacking wins. And, you know, what was probably several $1,000s a month in cash flow that was consistent, it seems to have ballooned. And, you know, it's amazing to see. I mean, April was, call it 5 months ago. And that has to be seen as a great decision on your part.
The portfolio is now consistently doing multiple 5 figures a month in cash flow, which
net.
Yeah. I mean, of course I don't pay myself everything out of the portfolio, but last few months I've been paying myself 15 grand a month, which
and again, you live on like 3 or something silly. How much do you live on?
No rent. Yeah. It's only a couple thousand a month, right? I don't have rent where I live. I live in a brand new townhome. And by brand new, I mean it was built in 2021. I don't have to rent for myself, right? I've got 6 other, because it's a 7-plex, right? I'm house hacking a 7-unit townhome site. So cost of living is next to nothing. No consumer debt, no car loans, no student loans that we have to, like, there's nothing to pay on. It's just food, insurance, pets. And so like our most expensive line item is probably pet food because we buy them the nice stuff, you know, to help prolong their life. Like that's a cool place to be.
Well, I'm gonna have to talk to your wife. We're gonna have to get you a kid. I think that's the next thing. A kid's got to come along.
That is the next line item on the agenda.
There you go. Well, you and Ashley would be amazing parents. I can't wait to see that. Before we let you go, I want to bring up this PowerPoint again. It's very much a rough draft, but I just want to kind of give you the flow, and you know, you let me know, you know, where it needs to change. So I'm pulling this up.
And what's the key takeaway you want people to get from this PowerPoint?
I just want to make sure you can see this, right? It says from one rental to financial freedom. Do you see that?
I'm seeing BP Orlando and a bunch of animated faces. I like the Dion one.
Yeah.
Mr. Clean.
There you go. So I need to go back here because I wasn't sharing the right thing. Let's try this one more time. There it goes. This should work. Now you're seeing it.
There we go. I know him.
Yeah, you know that guy. So I really have 2 things. So first, Bigger Pockets. After several weeks of going round and round on topics and ideas, we latched on to from one rental to financial freedom. So that's the overarching theme that I think I need to stay close to stay true to my commitment to Bigger Pockets.
Yep.
But what I want to get through this, and I think I have it in the agenda. So let me just pull up the agenda. These slides should change. Did that change for you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we're on the same thing. So I want people to understand where it begins. I want people, this is a big one for me, is I get a lot of people that say I can't do it because of X, Y, or Z. So I'm gonna tell you 8 stories. I think it's 8 stories, might be 9. Just to tease that, hey, you know, if they can do it, so can you. I want to remind people of my wealth formula. I want to give people what I call homework. It's probably better sold as activities that they can do after the event. I want to talk about the
Mhm.
ORAT rules, highlight some mistakes that are pretty consistent. And then again, I think, I want to show them just what our 25-year journey looked like, all the different, good, bad, and ugly of our 25-year journey. So that's kind of the flow. Do any questions pop out at the moment?
No, it might be kind of fun if you have it to throw in a photo of you in the first year. Like if you guys have a photo of yourself in the first year and then a photo now, it could be fun because it's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to see like physical aging of,
Yeah.
it actually took this long.
Yeah. I'll see if Olivia has some pictures of me at 30. That's one thing that I've historically been horrible at, but I will see. This is why you're here. That's very helpful. All right, so let's go. So I believe that financial freedom starts with belief. And, I've always said, and I strongly believe that if you don't have belief, I can't help you. So we're going to talk about that. Then I'm going to go into what most people think financial freedom looks like. Like it's a very simple path, easy, maybe a little uphill, but it's easy.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously you and I both know it's hard, right? Lots of traps and, scary things. And, it's not easy, right? That's kind of the theme of this.
Right.
Next, I'm going to go into those stories, right? I'm going to basically highlight, hey, are you a ninth grade dropout? How many of you in the audience are a ninth grade dropout? Probably not many. How many of you are single parents with 3 kids, $250K in debt, making $17 an hour? How about a stay-at-home mom who has no way to save for a down payment? How about had the big dream house but lived paycheck to paycheck? How about a college football star who didn't want a, I should say, job? Didn't want a job.
It's like, I don't know what a John is. Are we buying a toilet?
Yeah, no, a job. Sorry. This is very much a rough draft. You're the first person to see this. Married couple dreaming of traveling together. How about an 18-year-old with no job and no experience? How about a frustrated tech worker who quits and burns the boats? How about a single parent living in an expensive market? So all of these are, basically the idea is if they can do it, so could you. And then you probably recognize most, if not all, the stories. These are the people that are behind each line item. Like, all of these people did it. So, so can you.
I like the animation style. That's cool.
Yeah, I try to have some fun, right? Yeah. Okay, great. So now at this point, okay, great. What do I do? We remind people that getting wealthy is 3 steps. Those 3 steps are control, mastery, and time. What does that mean? Well, control, you've got to control your expenses. You actually have to grow disposable income. You know the story. Disposable income, become elite. Got to do it for a decade. And now I'm going to give you guys some activities, right? Activity number 1, you need to audit your expenses. Here's how you do that. Get the last 90 days of receipts, figure out what your life costs per month. Are you surprised by the number? I might blow this out some more, might be some more points. But the idea is, figure out where your money's currently going. Then activity number 2 is kind of the needs versus want exercise. This was a big one for Olivia and I back in the day. Like, what do you need versus what do you want? You got to sacrifice your wants for a decade to get what, to create disposable income. So here's the process of doing that, right? Get uncomfortable, blah, blah, blah. N for need, W for want, review it with your significant other. It's basically identifying how much you can cut. Here are my rules, right? Focus, daily, discipline, and, buy box, discipline, all these rules that help you. Then the mistakes to avoid. This might be interesting for you to chime in. Here are the ones that I put down. Lack of daily discipline, chasing butterflies, not understanding average.
What if instead of daily discipline, routine?
Yep. Lack of daily routine. Okay.
Because someone could say discipline, well, I brush my teeth every day. Like, right. you have discipline to do some things, but if you can make a routine out of it, like maybe it's underwrite your buy box, underwrite the market every day or something.
Okay. All right. Reviewing your buy box because that's what it is. Chasing butterflies. Right. Next hot item. Next hot thing. Not understanding average. Money disciplines. I deserve this. No reserves, because if you don't have reserves, you'll get blown out. changing focus because you're bored. Of all the portfolio reviews I've done, it's amazing how consistent that is. People do something for 5 years and then get bored and try something else.
I bought a hotel doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just not be bored. How about that? Not understanding that the first 5 years suck for everybody. Not appreciating that it takes a decade. Doing everything yourself. That was my big mistake. And then lack of a community. And then closing with our journey. Here are the big steps. It actually is 2 slides. Lost a year in the wrong market. So again, I wasn't perfect. First tenant nearly crushed us. We lost, no rent and damage. Had no money for properties after the third one. We did a cash out refi, but created an alligator. Went to an event like Bigger Pockets called the California Crash, and it changed our life. 1031 out of 8 went to 80. Banks stopped lending, so we had to go hard money. We raised millions in private money. I wrote for Bigger Pockets. Bought multifamily directly from bank. Wife retires. Reviewed portfolio, paid off some assets. I retire, lost my job. Wrote a best-selling book, flipped 56 properties. Saw stupid syndicators getting done. Saw stupid syndications getting done and warned people. Wrote a second book, created our community, moved to Vegas, no state income tax, and now we travel and enjoy life every day is Saturday. And then never forget, once you win the race or game, stop playing. I think a lot of people get that wrong. And then that's the thank you slide at this point. So again, very, very rough. Everything may change. But,
so you've done a lot of presentations in the past. What are your most frequently asked questions after you make a presentation like this?
It's funny. My most consistent question from last year at Bigger Pockets was actually, hey, I'm an adult. How do I make friends? Because, how do I network? It was like, oh my God, people don't even understand how to go out and network with people.
If I were you, because you talk about one of your mistakes being you did the solo thing, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
If I were you, I would try and have a slide or something that hits on that piece. Because if it's a frequently asked question, you should address it, because that's how you make your presentation better. And that's actually it was a pivotal point in your journey where you started having to work with people and create a community. So I think that would be I think that would be good.
Got it. Okay. Just taking some notes. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So again, the theme is from one rental to financial freedom, kind of carrying through a lot of my consistent things, maybe a little deeper stories there at the end. What did you think about the 8 stories of people that did it? The 9th grade dropout, the single parent, all of that.
Yeah, I think weaving those in is going to be good. It could also be good to share how you got connected with those people.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of falls into the networking piece, but they had to put themselves out there.
Yep.
To get connected with you as well. So it's like,
that's really a good point. Because only one of those people I knew before the YouTube channel. Jason Pritchard is the only one I knew who I would have called a friend before this. So that's a good point. Okay.
And how long is the presentation? Is it 45 minutes?
I need to check. I'm going to guess it's 45 minutes. Yeah, I'm going to guess. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and if there is a Q&A, which I don't know if there will be at the end, but if there is, I would take those questions moving forward and try and tailor those questions into the next presentation, because I think that's how this continues to evolve. And if you could have a storytelling session, which is basically what this is, where people are just left like, oh, this is just what I do. That's what people are going to remember. Like, this was the best presentation because he answered all my questions without me having to ask my questions. And for people that are really shy, that will make you the most impactful speech. Got it.
Okay. I like it. See, this is why I share my drafts with people I know, trust, and respect, because you allow me to make it better. So I appreciate that. What else is going on in your world?
Other than refinances, I'm filling up units. So I got leases signed yesterday for $7,280 a month worth of new income.
Wow.
It's a lot of money. Yeah. And that's all my new stuff. So we just got certificate of occupancy on some of the townhomes I got built. And so I'm leasing those up. And I mean, it's incredible. When this stuff is full, the assets it's kind of ridiculous. Like I'm consolidating, selling out of some of the small stuff. And this one property, when I'm finished, is worth $18 million. And it's going to be stabilized, one location, brand new. And I'm really excited about that. Like
what will be your total debt? What will be your total debt on that $18 million property? Like 8 or 9 million?
No, not on that one, because it's brand new. And what I ended up doing to get some of it, because it's a bunch of 7plexes, I bought some of these like 6% down seller financed.
Okay.
But there's some value add component to it. It's mismanaged. The rents are a little low on some of it. But if I add this up, I think it'll be about 12.
Damn. And how old are you again?
26.
Wow. So you've got to be knocking on the door of a Deca millionaire. $10 million.
We're going to get there. Yeah. Not there yet. And that one, amazing. So for majority of the townhomes, we're 50-50, right? So we own a position in that. And we also have a bit of stabilizing to do, but we're getting there, and it will happen. Yeah. I do think we cross 10 in like the next 18 months, which is kind of wild, crazy.
But look, before 30. Yeah.
I will just be turning 28 at that time, because I turned 27 in 5 months.
That's amazing. It's so fun. We're gonna have a party or something when that happens.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited. But in other news, I'm also doing the little stuff. Like I got a triplex. I'm refinancing. It's going to save me $450 a month.
Yeah. Sometimes just the little things. Yeah. Add it to the stack.
Yeah. I'm going from 8.625% interest down to 5.8.
Just the little wins.
Yeah. It's one at a time, right? One rental at a time, one little optimization deal at a time. And that 450 is not just 450. That's $5,000 a year that I didn't have.
And it's all to the bottom line. It just all falls out. That's all spendable money.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, Cody, just keep living the dream. Keep showing us old folks how it's done. Where can people find you?
Cody Davis Business Adventures on YouTube.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. Have a good week.
Likewise. Thanks.